enormous need to keep the internet open and accessible, as you know. So I, again, think that this is where the rural caucus, it has a common interest, whether we're Republicans or Democrats.
We're here at the ACA Summit with Representative Welch from Vermont. One of the things that struck me in your comments that you just made was the idea that rural is really beyond even bipartisanship. It's something that with the rural caucus, you guys are working to address the issues of the consumer.
Well, it's true because we're kind of at the end of the line. The metropolitan areas, it's a big profit center for a lot of the investors, but in fact, rural America is a big part of America, and we need cable, we need internet, we need all those services. So the rural caucus that Bob Latta and I have established is about making certain that whatever our rewrite policies are, at the end of the day, they're going to work for small businesses and individuals and families in the rural areas.
And you touched upon something with your example of Cliff Duncan and the fact that he started a cable system, very risky, 42 years ago with 50 subscribers, and that idea of localism and understanding the consumer.
Well, see, that's what I think the ACA offers. They're directly related to that consumer, that person who's making maybe $700-800 a week, and where they get $150 cable bill. That's a big expense for them, and it's tough. So when you're having that direct interaction, as the local providers have, they appreciate how this pressure on consumers is pretty rough. And we've got to have policies overall in the industry that work for consumers. We've got the broadcasters, the distributors, but we've got to make sure, in the content providers, but we've got to make sure that the interest and the needs of the consumers are respected.
And that's got to be a challenge because, as we heard earlier, the disruptive technology is always changing everything, right?
Well, disruptive technology can work for the consumer. I mean, that's where innovation is obviously quite important, and some of these technologies can work. But you've got to have public policies where there's not the ability of the big market powers to impose non-competitive expenses because they simply can pass it on to the consumer. Baseball contracts or sport contracts are an example. If the general managers offer a couple $100 million contract to an over-the-hill athlete, they don't really necessarily have to care if they can just pass that cost on to the cable subscribers.
No, that makes perfect sense, and I think you offer some good words of wisdom there to think about the consumer.
Yeah, well, I think it's got to be about the consumer at the end of the day.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.